Marketing Black Healthcare, creating insightful conversations where healthcare, community, and culture meets.
Marketing Black Healthcare.
Hello, I am Elisheba Mrozik. I own One Drop Ink Tattoo Parlor and Gallery. I'm also known as the Queen Bee Ink, and my studio space is called Honey Dip Studios on Buchanan. And I am a mom of two. I tattoo, paint, sculpt, community activist, artist activist. The North Nashville Arts Coalition is also my baby, and we started the Jefferson Street Art Crawl back in 2016. I've also got an awesome upcoming podcast series as well called The Honey Dip, and it's going to be on YouTube, where I interview amazing people as I tattoo them and have deep and meaningful conversations about culture and community.
I love it. So now I know I got to get a tattoo.
Yes, you do have to be on the Honey Dip.
So cute. I love that. Well, here we go. We're going to tattoo. So you said tattoo artists, marketing Black healthcare. How does that connect? Well, it always connects because we figured out that healthcare, community, and culture are one and the same. You can't have one without the other, and that's why it's important. So whenever there's culture, whenever there's community, there is obviously healthcare.
Yes.
Tell us more about the tattoo shop, and then tell us about the gallery, and then tell us about the coalition.
Yes.
It's all three.
It's so much, but tattoos. So One Drop Ink Tattoo has been around since 2011. We are the first Black tattoo shop in Middle Tennessee. And while a lot of people think that tattoos are maybe not necessarily something to do with health, it is, because we as tattooers are therapists. I spend more time with individuals than people do with their own families for 8 hours, 12 hours, tattooing them over and over again and having deep, meaningful conversations. It's literally therapy. I've learned so much about human beings through the practice of tattooing. And if you look at tattooing as a cultural aspect and phenomenon throughout every tribe and culture, tattooers were the spiritual and mental kind of guide to people, and so we are those connectors. And so I do think that tattooing is super, super interconnected with. In fact, I probably should get a degree in therapy so that I can help people with some other stuff while we work, because we get to talk through stuff. A lot of people just need people to talk to, about things, and we can help with resources and stuff. So connecting the two is really awesome. But tattooing is also dealing with the body, and that's a personal thing. Everybody's body is their own. And so when you're dealing with your body, tattooers can even point out things that you may need to go and check out while we're working on you, because skin conditions and issues can be very present, and we can tell because we know what a normal healthy skin looks like, how a tattoo should heal, and if you're having issues with that, then maybe we'll give you a suggestion that maybe you should go get it checked out. I've tattooed every type of skin tone, as well as every type of a lot of different types of skin, from very young, 18 to 70s. Wow. And the different types of skin on different parts of the body is just so different. So I truly do believe that health and tattooing are heavily interconnected.
So too. I think it's a profession that definitely lends itself to healthcare in many, many ways. But then there's the artist that's a part of it, which is the award-winning artist. Hello, she didn't say that. The award-winning.
I don't pop my collar too much, because I believe in just being humble and grateful for the things that I've been blessed with having, whether it's this talent or the support from the North Nashville community and people to just come to me. So, but I do.
There you go. National TV shows. She's not telling you everything. National TV shows. I mean, just amazing work. We can't go anywhere. We've been a couple places, and when we are, they're rushing her. Like, I'm sorry. Excuse me, Monchiere, move over to the side. Elisheba. Okay, all right, hold on. As they should. And so tell us about what style of art are you working on now that you have the gallery?
I love telling stories and truth through stories and teaching through art. And so a lot of the work I am doing is dealing with Black women specifically, and dark-skinned Black women even more specifically, as well as women of size, whatever you want to call that.
I like that.
So size, because we have a unique set of issues that get kind of pushed to the side a lot, and one of which is being judged for our exterior and not being able to step into places without automatically being told that we cannot or that we shouldn't be here. And I've been in a lot of spaces like that. Tattooing is one of them. Okay. As I'm the first Black tattooer in Middle Tennessee, trying to get into the industry when I didn't look and fit the part or the can I curse? Okay.
I think I have already probably.
Okay.
That's healthcare.
Yes, that's healthcare. But having to deal with things when you're in a male-dominated industry, in a white male-dominated industry, having to deal with the both the underlying racism that's always apparent in anything American, and also the fuckability factors, like I call it. Now, people want people that look a certain way to how they may want to have sex with them in order to judge their talent or their ability to be inside of something. And tattooing is like that because sex is the selling point. If you see tattoo magazines, what do you see? They may have 2 tattoos, but if they're sexy, they're on the front of a tattoo magazine.
Got it.
And so that whole entire mindset in the tattoo industry, as well as outside of that, just being the person I am, I like to experience anything I can, and stepping into spaces and always kind of getting roadblocks or like, what are you doing here?
Right.
Kind of things are some things that I'm dealing with in a lot of the pieces I'm working on.
I love that, and rolling that out. Do we see the industry changing post-pandemic because of the pandemic? Because you've been on a national show to shine and be able to give that amplification around women of size. Have you seen some changes?
Yes, there is. It's starting, and it's this new generation of people who are not stuck in the same mindsets. And so the industry is definitely growing and changing and becoming more and more diverse, which is awesome because the artwork quality explodes when you have so many different people who see things differently creating work. So there are a lot more artists of color, women artists, big girl artists of all colors, and they're coming out and they're cleaning up and they're doing great work. And it's really awesome to see because it makes the industry a better place. Yeah. Now, there are definitely those purists who want to keep things a certain way because they feel a certain way, but they're going to fall by the wayside. I mean, when you are discriminating against not only people who want to do tattoos, but clients, that's not going to stay up. I mean, I've had this issue a lot where I've had clients of color come to me. Recently, I had someone here in Nashville who came to me with a terribly damaged tattoo. It was this big. It was just a little God is greater than you or me. And it's like that big. And it had a little red arrow through it. And she was lighter than us and bigger girl. And she had a white sounding voice. So when she called on the phone, she asked about the tattoo and they said, oh, it'll be like $120. It's really quick and simple. We can get you in. She goes in, the entire conversation changes as soon as they see her. And now the price is $250 for this little bitty tattoo. And then he proceeds to dig into her skin and destroy the tattoo and everything because he doesn't know how to work on skin of color. And a lot of these artists don't want to open their mind up. They just want to say, you can't get that. Rather than learning techniques or working to make products to do stuff for Black people. So that kind of stuff is going to have to fall by the wayside. Yeah. There's more of brown people that need to be tattooed in the world and overall.
And wants to be tattooed. But then I think there's also the status of artists needs to be lost. If you can't do it for all, then you can't do it at all. Right?
The problem with like the tattoo industry is it's still kind of a rebel thing, right? It's not a highly controlled or it's not like electricians. There is a organization that is over electricians, right? And it's really up to individual states. Even in the state of Tennessee, there are super flaws in their tattooing law, because there is nothing there to rule out the discrimination that I faced or that a lot of people face in trying to learn how to tattoo or get into the industry. Nobody is there being the, you know, the gatekeeper in that way.
I love that. So let's take that over, because you've done the tattooing, you got the art going, you're the community activist, the artist activist, but you also created something that I've heard about. I think I've attended a couple things at some point. The coalition, the Arts Crawl. Tell us about that.
Yes, so the North Nashville Arts Coalition started as the Jefferson Street Art Crawl, and it was really a collaborative effort with myself and some other amazing local Black artists and community activists of all colors who came together because we had an issue. The issue was we were artists, we had great work, and no one wanted to show us. Or we would get tokenized and called in only for the Black History Month shows or things where they needed to show whatever. Right. And so we were tired of that. You know, we wanted to be seen as the professionals that we were and have our work shown and also sold. And so we decided to use the resources we had. I had the tattoo shop, luckily, which is why having a space and a place is super important.
A space and a place.
A space and a place is so important. If you don't have it, then how do you function? How do you gather? You know, how do you make things happen? Everything can't be done at home, you know? And so because I had a space, we went and talked to other businesses up and down Jefferson Street, and we were able to garner support to start the Jefferson Street Art Crawl in 2016. And it was all volunteer based. We ran it for 5 years before the pandemic hit. And once the pandemic hit, we tried to bring back a couple of spurts, but a lot of things changed because of the tornado and the pandemic, obviously. Right. And so now we're working on revamping it into the North Nashville Culture Crawl. We actually got our 501c3 certification, so we're a full nonprofit, and we are now looking for funding, grants, and partners to bring back not only the Culture Crawl, but our other programming like Portfolio Day, where we bring in any local creative and give them feedback and critiques on their work and advice on how to move forward and grow in their profession. We also want, our vision project is a giant mixed use space that is owned by the community for artists of color, that would have housing for artists and artists with families, because that's really important too, as well as studio space and maker space so people can grow their careers in a dedicated space. We all know how important dedicated office space is 100%. To being able to do your job right.
And amplify.
And amplify, you know, bring people in and connecting with businesses in a way that you can build your product and brand. And also have retail space for incubation for small Black businesses in North Nashville to be able to start their businesses without having to have this perfect credit, perfect, you know, set of things that you need in a traditional retail or commercial space. So we really want a owned by the community space, and that's super important, because so many times things are said to be one thing and then they get co-opted into somebody else's
100%
deal.
It's the MO, and so we have to build strong where we are, and that's a big part of culture. It's not about, you know, not connecting and and lacking of the intercultural connection. It's about build where you are, build strong where you are, and then you can fold in. But when this piece is owned by this person, this piece is funded by this person, this group is managing the program, and it's only in the space but not of the space and for the space, then it becomes another thing that has not served us well. I love that. You know, as we talk about where we need to go, with groups and organizations like you guys are moving forward towards a 501c3, what do we foresee, like what are we expecting beyond the Arts Crawl and the bigger vision of having that space? What do we see the impact could really be around something like that?
I mean, the impact could be that Nashville is really actually the place for people, creatives, to come and thrive in a real way.
Black creatives.
Black creatives, creatives of color who, you know, places like Houston have these nice, awesome incubation spaces. Chicago, they have these spaces. And it makes no sense, because really the creatives are what made these neighborhoods attractive in the first place. We going out doing murals, having arts events and activities, people seeing the type of culture and also the legacy of North Nashville, which is steeped in creativity and culture from people like Aaron Douglas and Fisk and TSU and all the creatives that have come through and taught in this space. It's no reason why we can't continue to uphold that legacy for the people that are actually here and have a connection here, and not just making things for the people who are coming in, but also knowing that we can't go backwards in that way, having a space where they can come in and join to help amplify rather than take over.
I love that.
So
I love that. So we are always looking for ways to amplify. Are you seeing post-pandemic, because I know you've had to pivot a couple times with the crawl, even with tattooing, having to figure out how your doors closed, doors open, all of that. Are you seeing a change for faster traffic? Does the world want more tattoos?
Oh my God.
It doubled up? I think everybody wanted a tattoo in the pandemic. I think every human
everybody wanted a tattoo. When I tell you, we had people offering us to come to their house, to come anywhere, and I was like, no, I got kids. I'm not going to get sick for you.
Right. That was like, I need this on my body right now.
And I know some people who did go ahead and do it, and I applaud them for, going for it. But my choice was to, for the safety of myself, my family, my artists at my shop, to wait and do it the right way. We also have been nonstop hit with people who want tattoos. Like, tattooing is not going anywhere, and it's only growing because every day someone turns 18.
Every day somebody turns 18.
Everybody, and right, and we're going, and the bachelorette parties that come to town.
Nice.
Everybody wants the little,
a little something to say.
Yeah, and I'm so busy. Like, I do so many big tattoos too, so a lot of the times I'm booked because my sessions are 5 sessions, and I do a few people at a time and finish their giant projects and then move to the next batch. So I'm sorry if you have not been able to get an appointment. I'm going to have a few walk-in days next year, and I'm going to be starting a Patreon where people who are on my Patreon will have access to appointments when they're available.
Love that.
So,
and that's awesome. And maybe some people can catch the new show too.
Yes.
Inspired. So, when it comes to impact change and what you're doing on the culture side, I think it's super strong because it folds into all your work. What's one word that really set us up for the future when it comes to how we continue to amplify culture for all people, but amplify culture in the Black community through all arts? Because a lot of times, even from an African American standpoint, or Black standpoint, whatever you prefer.
I'm Black.
Hello. Tattooing is not always looked at as an art. But us creatives, we know that somebody who's drawing on your body
better be an artist.
And so tell us that one word that you feel could really get us.
Listen, for me, it's ownership. As someone, the best decision I made was buying my house in 2008 through a program that they had where you could move in for $200. You apply, you do $200, and at that time I wasn't tattooing. I made $9.50 an hour back in then when that was something. And I was able to buy my house. It was a little foreclosed house, but if I didn't have that ownership of my home, then I wouldn't have anything. I'd be at the whim and mercy of whoever decides to change a rate, and nothing I can do about it, right? And so then you are allowing someone else to own your financial stability. You're allowing somebody to own your space and place, that you call home. And so ownership is really a big thing. The problem right now with ownership is that it's so expensive to own. Once, they gave people the ability to make money, they decided to raise all the prices so that nobody can own except those very top. And they're going to keep doing that because they want to, kind of make sure people don't get that ability to own. So I would challenge people to really work together collectively to buy bigger things, whether it's organizations, groups of friends, get a legal contract out there, get the terms defined out, and put your funds together and own something, because then you can control the destiny of it, and you can make sure that your friends and your family have something to fall back on.
I love that. And the dream stays alive. I think that's 100% key. Being able to own it, we've had folks from Matthew Walker and some other places, and the dream of Dr. Matthew Walker stayed alive because of the ownership of his building, the ownership of his space. And I think that's what we're saying. We're saying that everyone's invited to our space.
That's it.
But we have to have our own space. And that's key. Not just in healthcare, that's key in arts, that's key in culture, that's key in community. Thank you so much for coming. We're so excited to have you today. You don't know her, and if you don't know her, Elisheba Mrozik.
That's it.
Tell them where they can find you.
You can find me online at queenbeeink.com. That's Queen Bee Inc. You can also find me on Instagram at Queen Bee Inc. and on YouTube on The Honey Dip, Queen Bee Inc. all the way around.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming. This has been awesome.
Thank you.
Love it. And I got to get my crown, honey.
Yes.
I'm going to have to wear that for my birthday.
I got you, fam.